We'll keep it rolling here. High drama for Democrats this primary day. Hillary Clinton campaigning hard in Kentucky to try to keep Bernie Sanders from racking up another win after tensions boiled over at a Nevada state convention. And the fallout from that brawl still being felt. Good morning to you. I'm John Scott, and welcome to you.
Thank you so much. I'm Melissa Francis, in today for Jenna Lee. Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders battling it out in 2 states today. Voters heading to the polls in Kentucky, while Oregon holds its primary by mail-in ballot. Kentucky is a closed primary, meaning no independents, a factor which could favor Clinton, but Sanders could fare better in Oregon.
There are 116 delegates at stake in both states. Joining us now, A.B. Stoddard, associate editor and columnist at The Hill. David Drucker is senior political correspondent at The Washington Examiner. Hillary Clinton, A.B., has been campaigning hard in Kentucky. I guess that's some signal of the stakes of this race?
Well, yeah, Senator Sanders has won, I think, 10 of the last 12 contests, and she's hoping to put it away today. But I really think if you look at the issues here with Bernie Sanders voters and how resistant they are to Hillary Clinton, if she has a nice win in Kentucky tonight, I don't know that she can feel great tomorrow morning. She still has a Bernie Sanders problem with a portion of the liberal part of the party that really doesn't want to warm up to her in the fall, and on the issue of trade could be voting for Trump.
And David, Bernie Sanders is claiming that the system is rigged on the Democratic side. How's he doing with that argument?
Well, look, I don't think it's going to matter. Hillary Clinton will end up winning this nomination. It's just taking her longer than she wanted, which is a potential problem for her down the line. But look, the system is rigged. The system is designed for the Democratic Party to try and nominate the most electable liberal it can find. Bernie Sanders was an independent until recently. He affiliated officially with the party so that he could run for president under its banner. And, you know, I think what people have to remember about political parties is they're not ballot access organizations. They're designed to push an agenda and nominate candidates who believe in that agenda and at least would pay some sort of lip service to it.
Well, Hillary Clinton, A.B., has to, if she goes on to win the nomination, she has to get all of those Bernie Sanders supporters behind her, right?
She absolutely does.
So the longer this you know, division goes on between the two of them, the more difficult it renders that ultimate job.
That's right, and I actually think if Bernie Sanders had told his voters a long time ago just how rigged he thought the system was and how much the Democratic National Committee was helping Hillary Clinton's candidacy more than his, she would even be in more trouble than she is now with those voters. But that said, look, Hillary Clinton had to go on to enthusiastically support Barack Obama in 2008. She had presidential ambitions. So she had to support him, enthusiastically campaign, and ultimately she nominated him at the convention. Senator Sanders isn't running again. How enthusiastically is he going to embrace Hillary Clinton? He says he's not going to run a third party. He says that he is going to enthusiastically, or that he's going to endorse the nominee. He didn't say enthusiastically. He says he doesn't want Trump to ever be president. But just how enthusiastically he does that will have a lot to do with how many of the Bernie Sanders voters she gets. She's probably not going to get the same African-American vote and young vote as President Obama did. And she's really going to have to look to the left of her party to secure those progressives and make sure that they don't slip away to Trump on the issue of trade, or that they stay home.
There are, on the Republican side, David, a lot of mainstream conservative Republicans who don't like the prospects of voting for Donald Trump. But on the Democratic side, you've got the same issues. I mean, a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters aren't big fans of Hillary Clinton. So it's going to be such a balancing act there.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we're in a situation where the two major political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, are about to nominate the most unpopular candidates in the history of modern polling. Donald Trump slightly less popular than Hillary Clinton, but she's not far behind him. I think that's going to lead to a very negative race over the next 6 months. I mean, presidential campaigns are negative anyway because negative campaigning works. But this is really going to be a case of voting against someone versus voting for somebody. We've already seen that on the Republican side, where you talk to Republicans who are skeptical of Trump, or you talk to Republicans who want to convince the skeptical Republicans to vote for Trump. And what they always come up with is anybody's better than Hillary. And I think you're already seeing that on the Democratic side, that whatever you think of Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump isn't fit to be president, wouldn't be good for our values. And because he is such a sort of provocative figure, I think he actually might help Clinton reconstitute some of that Obama coalition that I think she otherwise wouldn't have been able to turn out.
But in some of the Rust Belt states, especially, Donald Trump is inspiring or bringing into the Republican fold people who may not have voted may not have voted Republican, AB, in quite a long time.
Right. Well, actually, there's the Democratic National Committee is releasing a report today that shows that he didn't bring in that many Democrats or new voters. He brought into the primary voters who usually don't vote in primaries and are largely Republican. But that energized turnout always helps presidential campaigns no matter what. He's going to have to really build up his white numbers, John, because his non-white numbers look worse than Romney's were, and Romney lost. So to overcompensate for them and outperform with white voters, he's going to have to go a long way in those states you just mentioned. There's a path for him, but it's certainly challenging looking at his non-white polling numbers right now.
We will see what happens today in Kentucky and Oregon. Big races in both states. A.B. Stoddard, David Drucker, thank you both.